Hey everybody, this is Pastor Megan at the Agra fort here in India, and right above me, boop, right up there was where the eunuchs lived in this fort, and they were the ones who guarded the females. I want to talk a little bit about eunuchs in the Bible. One of the cool things is that if you are someone who identifies as transgender or outside of the gender binary, that there are people in the Bible sort of like you. In the Old Testament, some of the rules and laws were that they were forbidden from being in some of the sacred places, in part because the religious faiths had lines. One line for female people and one line for male people, and people who were kind of in the middle or in other spaces, there wasn't a proper line for them. And also because they were considered to be sacred and holy, and in a space like this, given a place of honor, they often were better educated, and they used better grammar than that. And they were often given prestigious positions where they worked with kings and queens, and here in India that is also the case. So there is a beautiful text called the Ethiopian eunuch, which is in the Bible, which is a time when it talks about some of the rules that constricted the work that eunuchs could do. And in this text, the eunuch completely ignores the text that says they're not allowed to be received in faithful places, and says, what is to prevent me from being baptized? What is to prevent me from being a follower of God? And the only acceptable response, at least if you're Lutheran like me, is nothing. And that's exactly what happens in the Acts of the Apostles, is that they say nothing can prevent you of that, and that eunuch gets baptized on the spot right away, which is pretty much what happens when you say to a pastor, why can't I have communion? Why can't I be baptized? What is to prevent me from being one of the people that God loves? And the answer is nothing. So I share this trouble faithfully to remind us of the ways that we sometimes create people who are untouchable or people who are outside of God's love. It's not true. And when you say, what is to prevent me from being a follower of God's promise? The answer is nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. And even if people lie to you and tell you that's not true, that you need to follow their certain set of rules before you can have something faithful happen to you, know that Pastor Megan thinks that that's bollocks. And let this space remind you that people who are different, who are outside of the rules and outside of the categories, have always existed. They've always been loved by God, and especially in a place like this where they're trying to incorporate all the best parts of different religions from around the world, then there would of course be a way to try to incorporate all the best things from people around the world. So I'll see you next time. Take care.